All right, ladies, welcome back to another episode of Peaches and Tea. I'm joined by Janice, one of our newest members to the Peach Bar. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I see we changed the hair. How's that
It,
working out for you?
it was supposed to be a darker red, well, like a brighter red, but we ended up with copper. But a lot of people are saying it still looks good, so
Yeah, I mean,
I
it
guess it's
suits you.
okay.
It gives like a
Yeah.
very like strawberry shortcake kind of
Yes.
feel.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah, so. All right. So I wanted to bring you on the podcast just to hear your side. I know we had Naya on, we had Jeanette on, we had all the girls on, but since you're one of the newest ones, I just want to hear your journey in this esthetician field, just because
Okay.
everyone is always so different. So go ahead. Let me
Yeah.
know, how did you decide to start? What school? Why that school? And how do you feel like school went for you?
Okay. So, of course, my skincare journey started when I was younger. I said it when I was doing my intro video before, and I also mentioned it in my bio that I was dealing. And I still sort of deal with hormonal acne. That never left. I was on medication for it. Um, what took me to do aesthetics was I went to a lot of dermatologists. I went through three, and I stood with them for about 7 years. During those 7 years, though, I was on different medications. I was on minocycline, doxycycline. I was on spironolactone. I was on tretinoin, differin, polycrylus cream. Like I was on everything you could think of. That's what I
Yeah.
was on, and nothing worked for me. So then I was like, okay, let me just put random skincare on my face. So I was mixing a bunch of chemical acids. I was mixing glycolic and salicylic. I was mixing vitamin C with tranexamic. So there was so much happening on my face because I thought the more the better. I don't know. And I got to this point where my skin was so, I had to ice my skin because that's how bad it was. Like I couldn't go to sleep without icing it. And it got to a point where I would cry every night. Like it was so bad. And I was
Yeah.
like, something needs to give. I can't keep living like this. Would always wear beauty filters on Instagram. Like I never not wore makeup. Even on like Saturdays when I didn't even leave the house, I was wearing
Hmm.
makeup because I hated the way my face looked. So went to college, studied nutrition and food science. I majored in dietetics, and I learned all about the gut microbiome and how we need to eat probiotic and prebiotic foods, and how that would show up on our face. So okay, I get my diet down packed, and I did see a difference. I ended up breaking up with my dermatologist because I was like, I don't think we're working out. You got it's, I don't know. They also never diagnosed me either. They didn't tell me what was wrong. There was a lack of communication. It was just, here's your medication and go. It was
Yeah.
never like discussing, hey, this is what's causing it. This may be something that can help with it. This is the ingredient that we're giving it to you and why we're giving it to you. I just felt so in the dark. So I didn't really like it. Went to a gynecologist instead, and I was like, hey, I think I have this, this, and that. And it was the first time in 7 years of dealing with acne that he was like, yeah, I think you're right. Let's put you on a mild temporary birth control. That helped get my hormones in check. After realizing college was not in the books for me,
Hmm.
I did take what I learned, and I ended up trying to go to beauty school specifically to learn about corrective skincare. And
Okay.
I was looking at schools in New York. There was this one school, Leah Shore Institute, that I was looking at. And I was like, wow, it's amazing. It has everything I want. I was in New York and I couldn't make the commute. Like at the time, like I was in between jobs. So I was like, I need something local that I can commute to easily. And so then I found out about Parisian. I took a tour. Immediately I fell in love because the atmosphere there is just so like bubbly and welcoming. So I was like, whoa, you guys look like this is a fun place to be and I would learn here. And so I did some seminars and the teachers were very experienced. Like they spoke with such elegance and poise and they knew what they were talking about. And I was like, okay, I want to learn from you. So I go there. I went to school this past April and I graduated this past August. So it was like a 6 month program. And all through there, I'm picking the teachers' brains during my lunch breaks, during my regular breaks. Like my teachers knew me as like the brainiac because I always studied. I always studied. I did make time for friends, but at the end of the day, you're paying that much money. I was making the most of it, and I was studying, I
Yeah.
was reading, I was making notes. So I went as much as I could. I went to a lot of webinars. I did the dermatological courses. I made sure to like learn as much as I could. I took all the clients. Even like sometimes in class, like when the teacher would ask for an assistant, nobody wanted to participate. No one wanted to get waxed. No one wanted a
Wow.
facial. So I was like, I literally just offered my body. I was like, okay, who wants to wax me? Who wants to get waxed by me? Who wants a facial done by me? Who wants to do this? And I was just very like productive because I'm like, again, I'm paying for this. I want to come out of school as equipped as I can. So fast forward, I ended up graduating. Looking for a job was so crazy, but it makes sense because again, like we're starting out. I didn't really know what I wanted to do or what I was capable of. I just knew I had all this knowledge.
Yeah.
Um, so that was school for me. I loved Parisian. I loved the atmosphere that they created. I think the curriculum was very good with giving us hands-on experience. I do wish that we started the hands-on experience way earlier because we only got like 2 to 3 months with it. Um, so that was that. But my favorite thing was just how educated the teachers were because without that, if we were just reading off PowerPoints or just learning from a textbook, I don't think I would have retained anything. The teachers there were so dedicated that they would literally sit there and explain everything to you. And I'm so grateful that they had the patience with me because I would just yap a lot with all the questions I had. But yeah, that was school for me and what led me to um, pursue this career. I ended up going back to a dermatologist recently only because, again, my hormones are just my hormones. Like, that's something I have to probably go see a specialist about. But we're on tretinoin for like the third time.
Okay.
Um, and it's been going okay. But knowing what I know from school has definitely helped me make better choices on the skincare that I put on myself and also the ones that I recommend to other people. Now that I know how to treat everyone else's skin, it's hard. But now I know a thing or two on how to help other people because I
Yeah.
spent so much time learning that. But yeah.
I think that's the hard part when it comes to like school and stuff like that. Like I went to Capri and I loved Capri so much. I think I had an amazing teacher. Her name was Erica also, but I'm a little biased. But we did hands-on like first day. So that's why like I love Capri.
What?
Like we did like how it worked for us was we did an hour of lecture in the morning
Mm,
and then after that was all hands-on.
wow.
Yeah, so we were hands-on the whole
I'm so
time. So that's
jealous.
why yeah, so that's why I loved it. I mean, I think beauty school is beauty school, right? They teach you just to pass the state board, and
Yeah.
it's up to you to continue to learn
Yeah.
like more on your own. But it sucks when you go to school with girls who don't want to volunteer because everyone's like so shy or in their own
Yeah.
feelings. But I mean, you're only gonna get what you put into it, so like that's the hard part. I think
Yeah.
as estheticians, we know how to treat everyone else's skin but our own, and I think like
Yeah.
that's so hard. Like I could tell you exactly what to put on your Brazilian and stuff like that, but for mine, I'm like, bro, you'll figure it out on your own because like,
Yeah. I'm
who
maxed
has time
out.
for this? Yeah, like I do not have time to be worrying about myself right now. But now that you tried like all these different like skincares and like different products and stuff like that, what do you say is like your hands down holy grail for your skin?
I would say two things. I would say slugging has been a game changer for me. And slugging
Okay.
is just basically when you use an occlusive to lock in the product that you used already in your skin. So it's the last step of your skincare routine. I use any thick emollient. Recently, I've been using jojoba oil, but before that, I was using Vaseline. And so, why I like it is because I have a very compromised skin barrier because of the hormonal acne. It'll always make my skin super reactive. So, I need to make sure that the barrier is healthy so that it can actually heal what has been kind of erupting throughout the week in terms of like my menstrual cycle or different luteal phases that I'm going through.
Yeah.
So that has been something that has worked so well for me. I wake up and my skin is smooth. And the product that I use actually penetrates deep enough because it's not evaporating into the air, which is a real thing.
Hmm.
I didn't even know about it. It's called transepidermal water loss. Didn't know that all the yumminess I was putting on my skin was just bye bye. So it really helps lock everything in and keep it in there. Nothing goes in, nothing goes out. So it's kind of like a good mask while I sleep. The second thing I would say is hydrocolloid patches. I'm very big on like, well, I was.
Really?
Yes, I was very big on picking my skin because I saw it and I was
Oh,
like, if I just get you out, like my skin will be better. And I had like pepperoni face. I did. It was like pop, 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 pop. And you could tell that I was being a little naughty the night before, like popping it.
yeah.
And so what helped me stop was just I would see it and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna take a tweezer, I'm not gonna pop it, I'm just gonna pop a hydrocolloid patch on. It literally sucked everything that was in. It did the popping for you, and when you would wake
Hmm.
up, there was no scar, there was no hyperpigmentation. Whatever gunk was inside, it completely drew it out. So I was like, okay, I like this because I tried the pimple patches, the popular ones like Scarface or CosRX, those ones that are like they prey on people who skin pick. The
Hmm.
ingredients in there, they just weren't really supportive. And when you would use them on your skin, it was just like, oh, okay, a cute little sticker. But it wouldn't
Yeah.
actually penetrate your skin. And I'm very big on stuff that actually works. If it doesn't work, I'm not wasting my money.
Dude,
So,
I am so over like the girls who rock like the pimple patches because I'm like they're
yeah,
they're just for decoration. Like
they're
you rocking
cutesy.
yeah, like you rocking a
Yeah,
star or a heart on your face, it's not really doing anything for you.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
wish like girls in our field that rock it would understand more like let's stop making that a trend. Like
Exactly, exactly.
yeah.
And it's good to like hide it. I'm not looking to hide it. I'm looking to treat it,
Yeah.
get it out, and keep it moving. So, and also the pimple patches that I use, they're very translucent. So you put makeup on top of it, and I've tried it because I don't want to put makeup and you see a circle. I would
Yeah,
put
yeah.
makeup on top. You could wash your face. You could do everything. It's kind of like those liquid ones where you apply it and then that's it. It's stuck there for the rest of the day. That's what I really like about it, where it's just like I don't want people to noticeably see I have something on my face if I don't want
Mhm.
to. So I really like
Yeah.
that. Those two, chef's kiss. I can't live without them. But,
That's really good. I mean, I recently got into like that whole Korean skincare, and
yeah.
I think
Yes,
it changed my like skin
yes,
game a lot. And
yeah.
then at night, like after I put like all my essence and toners and stuff like, because I do have like I have like a good 7 step toner method going on for
Ooh,
me right now,
okay.
which is a lot. But it works for me. And then I started to add, I believe, what CeraVe, like the blue ointment. I add
Yes,
that on for my slugging at night. I mean,
yes,
my
yes.
pillows hate me, but it
Mm-hmm.
kind of works for me.
Yeah.
So that has changed my skin drastically because like no makeup on today, like so it's doing pretty good.
Okay. Yes, queen.
So
Mm-hmm.
my skin's going good. Now, when you've just got into the Brazilian area, I mean, like the whole waxing thing, I know you went to school for skincare. What made you want to try waxing? Because those are two different fields. Like, that's like oil and water. Like, they're two
Yeah,
different. I feel like if you're
yeah,
a good facial specialist, you can't really be a good waxer. But if you're a good waxer, you can't really, like it's rather one or the other. So,
yeah,
what made you
yeah.
turn into um, Brazilians?
When we started the hands-on, that's when we also started to get into waxing.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was excited. Everyone was like, yeah, we're going to get so close. We're going to see each other's coochies. We're going to wax each other. It's going to be great. The day comes, no one volunteers, no one. And I'm like, I need to learn this, guys. Like, what's going on? So that's when I was like, you know what? Let me just go for it. And I went, I volunteered. I had one of my classmates wax me. And I didn't have a great experience. So I was like, okay, let me try. Let me see. Let me take what I learned from that experience and see if maybe I can work on that, I can build on that. So then I started waxing and it took a long time because I was so shaky. I was like, I don't know how to apply it. I literally had to have the teachers like step by step. I was like, okay, this direction. Okay, how thick? Okay, like this. And they helped me. And then when I got it down packed, I was just flying. Like I was doing all the waxes. Any client that came in, I did it. Any of my classmates that wanted to wax, I was on it. There was even a class younger than me that they were in, and I was like, I would walk in, I was like, does anyone want a wax? And they would just me, and I liked the practical experience, but also I like that I became good at it. Where at the beginning I felt like I sucked. I was like, this isn't for me. I'm just doing it because it's part of my requirements. I have to do it for school. And little by little, I was like, wait, I found my technique to it. And a lot of people would tell me, hey, it doesn't hurt when you do it, or you get all the hairs when you do it. And that kind of, in my head, I was like, wait a second, I'm actually good at this. Like I don't suck at it like I thought I did. So I was
Yeah.
like, that kind of motivated me to do it more and see if I could find different techniques. So at Parisian, I mean, we had hard wax, but primarily we worked with soft wax. And soft wax is very easy to do speed waxing because it's just you apply in big chunks and then cha 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 cha, take everything off. And
Yeah.
I liked that I would be able to do services 1, 2, 3 because I would do the speed waxing. It was difficult to work with the hard wax because it always broke. We had to go over it like 3 or 4 times, but I was determined. I was like, I want to learn both. So I got comfortable in being uncomfortable, and I would literally work on what I sucked at. And so if I sucked at hard waxing, I made sure to work on that. If I sucked at Brazilians, I did it like 3 or 4 times at school because of course no one wanted to volunteer, but the stuff I sucked at, I tried working on it. And the more I did that, the more positive results I saw from it. So I was like, okay, wait, I think maybe I could do this. And so when I was looking for jobs, I was like, I want to do both. I love facials because that's what I studied a good chunk of my life for. And because I want to help people the way that I never got help, but at the same time, I feel like I provide a different angle with waxing because aside from school, I've had a lot of negative experiences with waxing. I got sugar waxed once and I left with folliculitis. I left with just, I was traumatized.
Yeah.
So because I know what not to do, it helps me curate an environment and a technique that would help other people not have to go through that because I know what a painful wax feels like. I know what a slow wax feels like. I know what the wrong placement feels like. And so now it's like all these different things in my head that are like, okay, don't do this, do it like this, make sure to tap here. And it helps me now in my mind to make like the best technique that I can because I have all this information from past experiences from myself or from others that tell me what they did or didn't like about waxing. And it just helps me. So when I started getting into it more, obviously I worked at European before this and then I was here. The more that I did it, the more I realized that I was having a goal. Every client, I feel like that's what helped me so much, having a goal. So I'm like, this time I want to work on this. I want to work on cleanup shifts. I want to work on my pressure. And every single time I got better. And it was that kind of hunger to get better and better that made me want to stay consistent with it. And here I am, now doing that as like the main wax that I do. And I have literally seen myself grow so much just from like having conversations of like, okay, how does this feel? Oh, okay, let's turn it down. Let's hold this more. Let's pull it up faster. Every client I gained something new, and it made me fall in love with waxing. Whereas before, I wouldn't really think that that was something even in the cards for me. But helping people have a positive experience made me want it more because I'm always just about making you feel good. And if I could do that with facials and getting your skin clear or giving you a positive experience with waxing when you've had so many maybe not so good experiences, I feel like that draws me to what I'm passionate about, just helping people
Yeah.
feel more comfortable in an industry that's kind of 50-50. You either like hit it or you miss it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think that's what's wrong with our industry now. I mean, I say this like a lot. I think TikTok, like I'm
Mm.
kind of for the TikTok ban. Like I'm one of those like ban TikTok now, like if you could.
Oh!
Because I think TikTok ruined our industry. I really did.
mm.
I truly think like TikTok made our industry a trend, right? Because
Mm.
you see so many at-home waxers when it's like that's against the law in New Jersey. You see so many girls who don't have a license but wax. That's against the law. You
Yeah.
see so many girls that have like 17 different waxes. It's like, sweetie, you don't need 17 different waxes. You need a
Yeah.
cream and you need a gel. That's all you need. Like, there's just so many trends out there. Or there's like one girl who literally lays like a whole strip on the Brazilian and pulls it off at once. And I'm like,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh.
So, exactly. So let's So I just think like TikTok just ruined it and made it about money versus
Mm,
like a passion for it. Uh,
yeah,
because I think you could train anyone to wax, right? Like we could train
yeah,
anyone to wax, but it's like if you have it in you to be a waxer, I think that's different. Like you
yeah,
said, caring about their experience, caring about like the outcome, like helping them make their skin glow and have less hyperpigmentation or less ingrowns or less of a reaction. I think that is what determines a waxer versus like a person who can wax. So
yeah,
there's a little difference.
yeah.
So now that we talked about like your holy grails, your school experience, your journey, what is the likes and dislikes of this industry so far?
I love how this industry provides such a freedom of creativity where you're not strapped down to one specific field. You're not stuck in an office job for X amount of years. You're not, a server jumping from job to job whenever it doesn't work out. Like this industry has so many routes that you can take if you want to do nails, hair, skin, waxing. You just have so many options, and I love that it's also a place where women are supporting women, and even your clients are supporting you. Like this is such an uplifting industry, I feel, to be a part of, and it's so freeing, but it's also challenging in that you're constantly learning and you're constantly staying on top of trends to stay relevant, so to speak, because obviously the industry is ever changing. There's different products, there's different techniques, there's different skin trends that come out that, people do have questions about. So being knowledgeable about that and staying up with it, I feel is very important. But it's also made me learn so much about just like I think there was a trend where it's called skin cycling, where you would
Mm-hmm.
use like a retinol, an active, and then you would calm down with like a moisturizer and just learning from different doctors' perspectives or different skin influencers' perspectives on how that helps. Like I feel like I'm always learning, I'm always being stimulated, I'm always being challenged on what I think I know. And I think that's the beauty of this industry. Honestly, the only con, quote unquote, and I say that because I really can't find any, is I feel like everyone says this, but just the unfortunate reality that sometimes you won't always have um, people's support. I know for me, when I first started this industry, not a lot of people were like, it's a fake job, it's not a real job, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, okay. And then there's the whole beauty school dropout thing. Like there's just so many stigmas that come with the beauty industry. That's just so unfortunate because it has so much to offer. It has so much to
Yeah,
offer and it's so much bigger than just, oh, okay, you're a beauty school dropout or okay, you do your little beauty business. Like it's so much more than that. And there was a quote, which I'm pretty sure everyone knows, like your clients become your friends faster than your friends become your clients. I think that's
yeah,
it. And it's amazing to see like I'll have clients that are like they genuinely want to know about like my journey and they'll ask me questions and they'll be like, oh, okay, like I'll refer other people to you and I'm like, wow, thank you. But then like the people closest to you, they'll sometimes not even ask. And I think that
yeah,
was something, yeah, that's something that was shocking to me. I was like, wait, like you're in my intimate circle. You would think, but I think I've had one friend book with me. That was like, whoa, that was a wake up call to me. I think those would be the only two things. There are stigmas where it's just like, oh, you work in a women business, women are catty. To me, it's just like, I feel like this isn't high school. Like, I don't really care about that. We're all here to make money. And at the end of the day, like, this is as much as it's like you work alongside other women, it's really a you against you. It's you showing up and being better than you were yesterday. It's you showing up and being more educated and learning more and showing up when you don't feel like it. Like at the end of the day, it's not about who's catty or who's not. It's you. And it's you against you at the end of the day. So those segments, like I don't that's not really a con for me because that's
yeah.
not really what I focus on. Um, but yeah, those are the likes and dislikes I would say.
Yeah, I think it's hard. I mean, I've worked in this industry for over a decade, so I kind of
Yeah,
like know. You know what I mean? I think it's all what you put into it. So, like you said,
yeah,
you are going to have some people who are catty, like, oh, why does she have my client? Like, da 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 da. Why does she book more? Why does she have a sale and I don't? You're always going to have those people. But I always try to tell them, like, worry about yourself. Like, who
Yeah.
cares what this person's doing or not doing? Like, to me, owning a woman like this, like full of girls, like I'm in, overseeing like 13
Yeah.
girls is a lot. Like, but I have the same saying, like, as much as we love like sisters, we also fight like sisters. So like we
Mm.
are hands down fighting. And I think sometimes you have an off day. Um, but you can't like bring that into the business, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's so
100%.
hard. I think it's so hard for me. I know a lot of people say like, oh, when they first meet me, they're like, you're kind of intimidating, and I'm like, yeah, like, because I only come to the peach bar like once a month or once every other month. And when I come in to see like, great atmosphere, but then when I'm seeing like things broken or like girls not talking to each other or things not being done, I'm like, that like ruins my whole day. And I think learning as a boss to like, okay, she like Janice didn't do it, so don't be mean to Janice. Like, you get what I mean? I think it's so like picking and choosing when to
Yeah.
fight your battles that it's a learning process. I say, like, for me, it's definitely a learning process. um just because I know like Jeanette, like it took me and Jeanette a long time. Like, people think me and Jeanette are close. They're like, oh my god, you guys are so close. But Jeanette didn't know I liked her until like 3 months ago. She was like, I thought you hated me. And
Oh.
Jeanette's been with us for like 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm very like, it's very hard. It's very hard for me. Like, I'm a true Capricorn through and through. Like, I believe that. Like,
Mm.
I am a true, like, I'm like Cap, Sag, Cap. Like, so I am double
Mm.
Capricorn. So like it's all about like work and money and let's go. And then there's time to
Yeah.
play. So I never let people into like my intimate circle
Mm.
until like I know I can trust you 100%.
Yeah.
Just because in this business, I've been burned so many times. Like, I've had the Peach Bar now for like 9 years. There's
Yeah.
girls like people know, like some people know part of my story. They don't know the whole story. Like, there's girls who like they slept with my ex at the time. They slept with him. It still worked for me. There's girls that will like be at work and handing out their own personal business cards to leave. It was like like
Oh
crazy.
my
And these were
gosh.
girls, yeah, and these were girls, like there was like one girl, like she couldn't, like her and her husband broke, like he left her. She didn't have money to like pay her rent, and I literally took money out of my own pocket and was like, here, go pay your rent, make sure you and your son are okay. But
Oh
then
my gosh.
that girl's, and I never asked for it back. Like, don't care. Like, if I'm good,
Yeah.
I make sure my girls are good. And
Mhm.
like that girl's sister went and slept with my ex while still employed with me, but he was my boyfriend at the
Mm.
time.
No. Oh my gosh. I thought you were saying he. That's.
No, 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 no. We also had, wait, it gets better. We also had, just so you know, the tea of the peach bar and why I'm kind of standoffish. Because I admit, I am very, very standoffish at first.
Wow.
Like, I know, like, once you guys see me, you're like, damn, this girl's a biatch.
No. Stop.
I wear that proudly, number one.
Okay,
Um,
fine. I take it back.
but we had a receptionist one time, and me and my ex had just broken up. Like, we broke up fine. Like, I had like a whole breakup like dinner because like this guy was just so toxic that even girls at the
Wow.
beach were like, please break up with him, broke up with
Yeah.
him. And the next day she was at the dinner, and then I want to say the next day she didn't come into work. 2 days later, I get a phone call and she's like, why are you texting my man? I was like, who's your man? I was like, I'm not texting anyone. Like, I'm
Stop.
not even on it. And it was him. She started dating my ex. But meanwhile, you were just at my breakup dinner.
Yeah. Was she also the one encouraging you to break up with him?
Yeah.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah. But to each their own. But
Ew.
that brings us to another episode of Peaches and Tea. Thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure. Glad I got to know you better. You and your
Yes.
besitos, the only
Mi
Spanish word you
besito.
know.
This is true. This is true. No
We're
sabo,
no
no sabo
we are no
kid.
sabo kids here. We are. My mother-in-law talks to me in Spanish and I have barely no idea what she says.
Goes
So
in when you're out the other. I'm like,
I love her to death, but
okay.
she is Puerto Rican, and Puerto Ricans
Yeah.
have a thick accent.
And they talk fast. I'm like,
Super
slow it
fast.
down. Yeah.
Super, super fast.